I've got the feathers textured for the headdress. That's the way they look around there to where they meet the shoulders and back, and the same thing on the other side. Cut in back here where it meets the shoulder, and I've left this where the barrel is. It'll kind of help steady that, so maybe I won't break it off. But this is where the headdress is right now. You can see I've still got the marks for the shafts. I've got this little downy fluffy stuff done, and on the back I'll hollow that out and it'll go up against the head. A lot of wood will come out of here, and what I'll do to start that is I'll just take a marker. I don't have to take a marker, but it helps. But I'll mark a pretty thick border for the feathers, and that's about how thick I want the feathers. And I will go all the way around like that. Left-handedness. And you can barely see that line on there, so I'll move it up here. I'll just go around it and that's the width that I want the feathers to start out, and they'll be thicker as they get on down here. And I'll scoop all that out, but I'm going to leave it that way for now, because once you scoop it out, you start hitting on it, it'll break off pretty easy. So that'll be one of the detail and things that I'll do. Then we'll move down to the feet and the legs. And gonna draw on the shirt. I'm just gonna draw with the gouge. It's gonna come down and go up a little like that, and then come out down the front. And kind of the same thing over here. Get that in with the pencil. I'm going to kind of draw the legs. I don't know if you can see right there, there's a lot of that needs to come off, and I'm going to do that now. I'll do that on both sides. I did leave a chunk of wood on that. Not only a chunk, but way too much of a chunk. Well, that cut there pretty much set in the ankle area where it goes from leg to foot right there. Just kind of rolls over. I don't know what I'm going to do with the fringe yet. Work from the outside in on these. And I just make this cut where the transition is from the leg to the ankle, just looking at the profile, and it'll kind of set it in and then just take off kind of straight across there. The legs are pretty straight, so take off all that excess. And also it's going to be cut in between there. And then we'll just go from the ground up to that's gonna be the fringe. And it comes down about the middle part of the leg, so I'll just that'll kind of be the fringe line, I'll call it. And it'll go up something like that. Want to be sure they're not cut off the back of the foot, because it will make it look funny if you do that. Kind of sitting in the kneecap. And the thighs. And I'll kind of cut back in to do the what I called on the other side, the fringe line. And doing the back of the fringe, or the back of the leg, around the fringe line. That's about where the knee is in the front, so it's going to have a little bit of a curve back there. Just kind of thinking about where the muscles are on the leg and leaving wood. Maybe it won't look too skinny, won't look too muscular. I'm going to draw on it here just a bit. This fringe, I'm going to let go around that way. This fringe is going to come down right there. And I'll just start this with the big gouge. Oops, with the big gouge. And cut out the space in between the feet. Get a little smaller guys to go over here because the fringe is going to be right up next to it. And again, when I drew that on there with a pencil, I left what I thought would be extra room so I can get closer to it with this, and then another smaller gouge, and then I'll work a V-tool in there to get the right length. Again, I was shaping on the legs. There's the knees. Okay, the feet will be about a head length long. So I'll mark that where that needs to go. And this is an approximation. I'll mark it at a head length, and then to me that looks a little short, so I'll make it a little longer, but not a whole lot longer. Kind of like the looks of that. It looks pretty good. So I'll just outline what I did with the 14, number 11. Again, that's still big enough that if something is not right, or if I want to move the feet a little bit, I can do it without too much trouble. It's not real small, doesn't put me in a corner, as I like to say. Okay, and just all right, just looking at the legs where I think they need to go. I just draw a little center line, then kind of the outline over here, and then the outline over there, and then I'll go over that with a marker where it'll show up a little bit better. Not the inside stuff, but that's about where I'm going for to cut through. What I like to do is cut through the bottom first. Again, it just gives more support. I got more room too to cut through on the bottom. Then I'll go on to the back and just reach in here, reach in the front. That kind of tells me where the lines are. You can kind of feel through there. And then take all that out. I will be looking for some good, I don't know if you can see that, how that tears out right there. How rough that is. Look right there. And it's just super soft wood. My chisels are sharp. Not sharp enough. I mean, I'll have to sharpen them. And just keep sharpening them when I'm cutting that stuff. Okay, so I've cut through there. You can see my finger. So I'm happy with that. That kind of tells me where I'm at. And I'll take a shallower gouge and shape the leg. Well, I'll just do that now. To me, it helps to keep my finger on the front of the leg, and that way I can tell how thick it is. I don't know, do y'all do that, or y'all have to? I know some people use calipers a lot, or measurements. Man, it's just super soft right there. It's bad to hit a spot like that when you're this far into the carving. Because you can't move things now. And even it cuts pretty good on this side of the leg, right here. And then on this side of the leg, it's all ripping and tearing. But it'll be all right. We'll fix it. That's where you have to slow reel down and sharpen or hone your tools about every other cut. Just shaping the leg. This one's pretty thick up at the top. By pretty thick, maybe I took a 1/8 of an inch off there. A loincloth.